Hello and welcome to episode 5 of our podcast. It's the last one before we go to summer, although we are going to try and keep some stuff going over Skype or TeamSpeak or something like that. So it's the same setup as normal, each of us with a different thing to talk about. So I'm Billy.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Greg.
So Brandon, would you like to start off?
Yeah, mine's a nice simple topic. It's games that were relatively panned in normal gaming society, and I kind of messed this up already. I'll carry on though, I'll edit it. So mine's nice and easy. It's basically just games that were relatively lauded in the public, but games that we loved.
Okay, so critically and commercially
poor,
panned,
yeah.
But we actually quite enjoyed them.
So I'll get started off with my one. It's probably the 2009 Wolfenstein, a game which has got a cult following, I suppose. A lot of people of the sort of first-person shooter genre hated it. For its time, I do believe it was slightly graphically dated, and after a little while I can see why people got bored of it, but I enjoyed it just because of the fact that it was like a great setting. I liked the idea of it. It actually felt like you was in like a German-occupied Germany. There was just so much to explore and so many things, and it was one of those games where even though it was relatively linear, it did have an element of free roam to it, and you was greatly rewarded if you took part in the free roaming aspect of it, because each little house or nook and cranny that you could get your way into, you usually found something that would help you progress through the game. It was just really good like that.
If I'm not mistaken, is that it's just titled Wolfenstein, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
So that one, it was, when you say it was linear, it was kind of like, there's an area of free roam, but you have to go in this direction.
So
started off quite
it was,
wide and
was
got
like,
quite...
It was almost like it's got its own free roam map that which you can go and explore, and then to do a mission you'd go and speak to someone in one of these locations, and then it would almost take you to a whole new map, but that map was like almost like a Call of Duty mission style linear thing. But even in those linear missions, there were still elements of it where if you could spot certain things which you can use your powers to gain access to, you would be able to get like some power ups and stuff like that, which just help you throughout the game and throughout the mission. So I just thought it was really enjoyable. I
never actually played that game, so that's why I was quiet throughout the whole thing.
I have played it a couple times, and I did find it quite the linear aspect to the missions, where you started off quite open, but the further you got down, it got more narrow and narrow, and then obviously because you'd have to loot as well to craft weapons and things like that.
Yeah, because that was the thing. It was like in the game you had to. It was one of those games where you couldn't just be something and then switch. It was one of those games where, because of the fact that there was a lack of gold, which is like the currency in the game which you use to edit weapons and power-ups and stuff like that, you had to decide roughly what sort of player you wanted to be in the game, because obviously there was a limited amount, so you had to almost pick quite early on in the game how you wanted to boost your character.
All firepower.
Well, that was how I went, and I think that was how the majority of most players went. But you was also rewarded if you did use the Thule stuff, which was like the power-up side of the game.
I've never really played games that were considered rubbish. I think the only one I played was Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I did, yeah. I played like I didn't play all of it. I played like the first half of it, and I watched a playthrough of it and enjoyed it. I didn't think it got that. I didn't think it. What was it? What's the word?
Panned.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Have you had any urge at all to play the second one?
Not really, to be honest, but that's because of money, and money I don't have.
True. I did like the...
But, I would play it.
I think
Watch Dogs has
a really good idea.
I like the idea behind it.
It was a great idea, it's unique.
But, I don't know, I almost found it almost like a modern day Assassin's Creed, in the sense that it just got a very repetitive... and I loved Assassin's Creed, so don't get me wrong here, like Assassin's Creed games were awesome. Not so much the later ones, but then I can't really comment on them because I've not played them. But just from word of mouth. But the thing with Watch Dogs that I found was it seemed too repetitive, and it seemed to get really hard before I'd mastered the actual game, if that made sense. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
The mechanics of it all was rubbish as well. Like the driving wasn't great. The hacking sort of didn't work.
It got fiddly.
Which was,
Yeah.
the main
The
point
times
of the
where-
game
Yeah.
when that doesn't
But
work.
it was still it was a decent storyline, and it was a good good game.
When
I
I
think.
first played it, like the first mission where you were in the baseball stadium,
Mm.
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
But then the open world aspect, I just started noticing problems with it. And I don't know, there was no real direction for me. And maybe it was just because I was having an off day playing, because there's been times where I've started a game, ended up going off of it just because of the fact that my mind wasn't in the right place on that day, and then I go back and replay it and I think, oh, you know what, this game's actually awesome. So
It gives off the impression it's one of those games you've got to dedicate time to.
yeah, and sometimes I don't have that time. So
Yeah, because there's a lot of leveling up you can do with your hacking and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
So mine would
Yep.
be the re-release of Turok on Xbox 360.
see, I've not played that.
I've
See-
never played that either.
I'd never heard of it at all. And me and my mate, this is back in secondary school. This is gonna, single me out right now. We got the bus to Salisbury Market.
I don't know where that is, but it sounds too nice for something.
Mate, Salisbury's got the tallest cathedral spire in England.
Is that their claim to fame then? Is it?
Well, the more you know. I
Yeah.
I thought that was Chesterfield, or is that the one that's just leaning?
think that's the one that's leaning. Anyway, so Salisbury Market, and like what market stalls that have like the games, the ones that the blokes' kids don't play anymore. And he had 2 copies of Turok for like £1.50 each. I was like, I'm out of that. I mean, it's shooting dinosaurs. What's not to love? And looking back now, it's the worst game in the world. Like the mechanics are so bad. The combat mechanics are crap. But it made use of the stealth with the bow and arrow combat before Far Cry made it popular. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then you also had elements of, like some of the boss fights. I remember I got stuck on a T-Rex boss fight, and the idea was you had to lure it over with one set of ammo, and then shoot the barrels with another. By the point I'd already got to the boss fight, I'd run out of one type of ammo.
Yeah, that's it. Almost sounds similar to you haven't played Far Cry. Do you know in Far Cry, do they still have the mortar system where you have like the mortar where you fire it so it lets off a smoke grenade and so you can target whereabouts you want to go? Or did they get rid of that?
I think they got rid
well,
of
I've only
that.
played Far Cry 3.
Far Cry
before.
5, there's mortars in Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I need to play Far Cry 5.
Because in Far Cry 2, you had when you got a mortar, you got given 2 sets of ammo. So you got given smoke grenades, and you also got given live shells. And that you had to target using the smoke grenades. So you'd line up the distance you wanted to fire and stuff like that. And then you'd have to fire a smoke grenade so you knew you was hitting the right target, and then you could switch to your actual explosive ammo. By that point that you've lined up the target, they've already hopped in their Land Rover and just driven straight at you. So I get what you mean by stuff where it requires you doing one thing to try and pick out something, and then another thing to actually complete the task.
I mean, it was like a lot of games have this problem where you can climb up certain things that are taller than you, but waist high barriers you can't get over again, which makes it quite linear. It's like you can't go further than this particular section in this particular base. I mean, the open world, it was kind of open world, but it was like it's like a sandbox,
Yeah.
but quite a small sandbox. So like because it was set on an island, oh no, you mustn't go past that mountain. It's like a brick wall, just constantly just smacking into it.
I'd like to put forward one more honourable mention for games which were critically panned, but I quite enjoyed. Aliens Colonial Marines.
Shit game.
I loved it.
Never played it.
Awful, awful game.
Yeah, it was, looking back on it, an awful game. However, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved the campaign. I liked the sort of not the looting system, but like the inventory system. And I actually really enjoyed the online. It's one of the few online games I was actually genuinely good at.
Now, I called it bad, and it might make me look like a bit of an arse. But is it Colonial Marines, or is it the other one?
There was 2, wasn't there? There was Alien versus Predator. I played both. and
Is it the
enjoyed
one
both.
where the alien has 2 different AIs? Was that Colonial Marines?
Are you thinking of the one where you can switch to be either a marine, an alien, or a
No,
predator?
no. So the alien's got two different AIs. One of them tells the alien which direction you're in, and one of them tells you what area you're in,
Ooh.
or something like that. One of them.
I can't remember actually.
I can't
think
remember.
it's the
I thought it was
majority
quite
of
a good
I always
mechanic,
played,
though.
even in Alien versus Predator versus Marines, I ended up always playing as the Marines just because I found the combat system easier. But I know that it was rewarding to play as a Predator at times because of the fact that it was awesome. I remember the aliens just used to get farted on a little bit, if we're being honest, because they were just always outgunned.
Yep. So, who would like to go next?
Don't mind.
I mean, I don't mind going next if you want me to go next.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, so this requires a bit of imagination on your part, the pair of you.
Right.
Oh god.
It goes similar linking into what Brand is talking about bad games, but this is bad translations. So obviously from like Japanese releases into Europe and America. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and then each of you give me what you think said, and whoever's closest wins.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you're a guard at a top secret military base. Somewhere out in the darkness, someone is lurking, looking to break your neck, and if that wasn't enough, Big Boss has been on your back all week, making you work extra shifts, so you're exhausted and might fall asleep at any moment. Suddenly, movement from the bushes. A figure is snaking towards you, and with your final words, you say... What do you say?
Help.
And remember, you've been working very hard, or very tired.
Oh, well, it'd probably be a swear word, wouldn't it?
Goodbye.
It's not. There's no swears in it. No
Yeah.
profanity.
It just says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
You gonna lock that one in?
Yeah.
Locking in goodbye.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Damn it. I mean, you're both terribly wrong.
Oh god.
I feel asleep. And that's from the original Metal Gear.
I feel
asleep.
It's the same as like, my face is tired.
What the heck?
Well, he says
So
that
that's
as
the
he's about to be
last thing he
bitten
says. So as he's about to
by
be
a
beaten
snake.
up by someone, he literally turns around to go
Or
and
what
just
is
goes,
it? Just like-
"Don't,
No,
it's fine,
Metal Gear, the character is called Snake.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
Snaking towards... No, okay. Well, second one. I do have 3 if it requires 3.
Okay.
If not, we'll just stick with 2. You're in a fighting game. You're a wise, elderly man. Think Dumbledore, but less Dobby and more decking dudes. You're about to face an evil opponent, but before you fight, you must say something that showcases your power, but also that you're a really lovely chap. What do you say?
Ooh.
So remember, you're powerful, but you're very
But
lovely.
you're really, really nice.
Really nice.
I don't want to do this.
Is there a finish to that sentence?
No.
I don't want to do this.
So you're saying it as you're hitting someone?
But before you fight,
Oh,
so you know
before
that
you-
the goading.
Oh,
like-
okay, yeah.
I don't know. You'll keep back if you know what's good for you. Something like that.
Remember, you're nice.
I love you, but stay back.
I like that. I love you, but stay back.
I can't top that. What? Come on, give us the answer.
Okay, well, Greg is kind of close with it. So,
Oh, go on.
your fists of evil are about to meet my steel wall of niceness.
Just for purposes of the recording, I have just sighed immeasurably.
And that's from Fatal Fury Special. This goes back to the whole, I'm obsessed with the congratulations, you are win. It's my favourite thing in the world. Would you like the third one? Seeing
Yeah,
as
go on
we've
then.
still got time?
Yeah, go on, we'll join this.
Okay. You're a guard and you love your job. You also have a massive gun. What's this? Intruders? Oh, they've messed with the wrong guys, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as this sorry chap comes through the door, you've got a few seconds to shout something before you resurface his body into a colander using your hot lead. What do you say?
Firstly, can I just point out who is giving guards lines in these video games, because they are some awful lines.
They are awful. These are all from like the 80s and the 90s.
Okay, so you're about to turn him into lead. I'm putting you on a diet of bullets.
I do like that. That's quite good.
I don't know whether I can't top that one.
Okay, so
Yeah, go on. Yeah, just
they're intruding,
yeah.
and you have hot bullets.
Meet the melting point.
I'm going to give it to Brandon,
Okay, that's fair
which
enough.
means it's a draw.
His was better.
But the actual line is, "You intruders, get you the hot bullets of shotgun to die." And that's from Bloody Wolf,
Oh, goodness me.
which I'd never heard of before.
Jesus.
That is ridiculous.
That
Can we
is
just
awful,
have that
isn't it?
line one last time?
You intruders, get you the hot bullets of shotgun to die.
It's like a Shakespearean, like, sonnet.
Just
think
broken
it's-
English, isn't it?
There's one from Castlevania, which, like, everything had been translated literally. And Castlevania or something with Dracula. And it's like, how have I been so defeated?
These are actually brilliant. Oh, I'm going to go and have a look at some more of these when we're finished here.
It just reminds me of that bit from the Avengers with the Shakespeare in the Park.
Doth mother know
You weareth her drapes.
Oh.
Well, that's my section.
Okay, mine's a bit weird, and it could be very short. But TV shows that got cancelled that you wish didn't, or
How much time have we
or
got?
TV shows that you wish got cancelled because they're just going on a bit.
First of all, I would like to express my sincere hatred of Fox before starting my section. Thank you. Can I start?
Yeah.
Lucifer. And you know how obsessed I am with it.
Wait, did it actually get cancelled?
It got panned, it got cancelled.
Did it actually? Fully?
It got cancelled.
Oh god.
But everyone on Twitter,
I thought it got saved, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine did.
it's not been saved yet.
Oh.
But there's talk of like the CW network, Netflix. If it got picked up by CW, I think it'd be awesome because it's DC along with Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
Crossovers. But that's the thing, like, the way they left it, you can't leave it like that. I'm not going to spoil it because it's 3 seasons in. But, oh my god, I sat bolt upright in bed. This was like 2 in the morning the other night when I watched it. And everyone on Twitter, it was like number 1 and 2 trending on Twitter the other day. So hashtag save Lucifer and hashtag pick up Lucifer.
That's mad.
And
It's the same with my one. My one was only 1 season. It's called The Tomorrow People. It was a very, very good show with good acting. It just didn't get the views, which I thought it got quite good views. It only had like a 50% rating, but it left it on a really good cliffhanger. And even though it took a long time for them to announce that it got cancelled, but when it did, I was in a mess.
yeah, I've never seen that, but you talk very highly of it.
It was very good.
Oh god, I've got so many options to choose from here. I mean, I wish the young ones had continued for a few more seasons. I wish Bottom had continued for a few more seasons.
For people that don't know,
Yeah, me included.
including Greg, just explain what they are quickly.
So the young ones was basically university life on acid, and Bottom was basically life on the breadline on acid.
So they both starred Rick Mail
Rick Mail
and
Adrian Edmondson,
Adrian Edmondson.
Nigel Planer in the young ones. But oh goodness me, like, they're just the funniest like British comedy shows that I've ever watched in some ways. Like, I could just watch the same episode about 3 times in one day and I'd just be absolutely wetting myself with the jokes. And it's like that stupid Bottom flatulence humour along with slapstick. It's just got a bit of everything in there.
It's more appealing, if you ask me, than that sort of American bro humour.
Definitely. Like, it's proper typical. It's almost eye-rolling at times, the humour, because there's like puns involved, and sometimes it can be really family orientated. Next thing you know, they'll be like talking about politics and
It's like
slandering.
you get the impression if it was American, it would be canned laughter.
Canned laughter,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they don't need it.
They don't, and they did it in front of a live audience, stuff like that. And I feel like the ad lib of it and the way that they break the fourth wall and stuff like that, that just it makes it a little bit more. But yeah, I wish they hadn't been cancelled. But the show that I really wish hadn't been cancelled was probably Jericho, just because of the fact that when it started getting good was the time that they cancelled it. So about halfway through season 1 and the first half of season 2 was just so slap bang average and like, oh, typical. Like, the main character gets killed and then you find out he was wearing a bulletproof vest and it all got a little bit ridiculous. But then it started to pick up again. And then halfway through an episode, literally halfway through an episode, just as they find a new city and it all gets very exciting, they literally stop the episode. It was like they were filming and the producer just went, oh, you know what, sod this, we can't carry this on, and just stopped it because it was literally halfway through a bit of dialogue.
That's ridiculous.
And I remember just sitting there watching it and just wanting to launch the remote at the TV in anger because I just wanted to know what was going to happen. Even if they'd wrapped it up in like the final 5 minutes of an episode and it was really rushed and crappy, I would have appreciated it more than just, oh, I wonder what we're going to... And that was it.
It's literally it.
It might as well have been like that.
And it was halfway through the series.
Literally halfway through dialogue when they were escaping in an ambulance, they just cancelled the episode.
Well,
even now I'm getting angry thinking about it.
Well, The Sopranos just cuts to black. Maybe they were trying to go for something edgy,
Yeah,
but then it got
doesn't
cancelled.
But was it midway through the series, so they had more episodes to go, or was it the end of the series?
Yeah, literally, like the first series, if I can remember correctly, had about 10 or 12 episodes. This one had about 8.
Okay.
And it was literally just halfway through dialogue.
They must have been told halfway through that season that they
were
got
told
cancelled.
halfway through
So
filming. The camera guy just went, oh, you know what, sod this.
he probably wasn't getting paid very well.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't have any proper head turns. I mean, it had Skeet, oh god, what's his name? Skeet Ulrich, the bad guy from Scream in it, and he's like the only major actor in it, if you can even call him major. Sorry, Skeet, if you're out there listening, I love you really.
I doubt he listens to this.
No, he doesn't. But yeah, so that's probably my one. It would have to be Jericho, just because of the way in which it ended.
Fair enough. So that's all we've got time for now. And we're going to try and do stuff over the summer. But obviously we won't be living together, so it's a bit more difficult. But let us know in the comments what your favourite worst game is.
What you want us to talk about in the next episode.
What you want us to talk about. Any other funny mistranslations and any shows that you wish hadn't got cancelled. So we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.